This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi Sagan, Chodesh. I want to share with you a few important inyanim and machshavos for Chodesh Elul. We're in Rosh Chodesh Elul now. Haba Aleinu L'Tova Yom Naram are coming. So I want to share with you, we know there are not so many svarim of the Rishonim written on Tshuva. You have the Rambam and Hilchos Tshuva and the Yad HaChazaka. You have Sharei Tshuva, that's like the magnum opus on Tshuva. There is a sefer on Tshuva which is not as well known from one of the Rishonim. It's a massive sefer. It's called the Chibur HaTshuva of the Meiri. It's kedai to get it. It's a beautiful sefer. And the Meiri writes, in the Chibur HaTshuva, Maimer Beis, Perak Aleph, what is the tachlis of Chodesh Elul? We know the famous remez that's brought in the Kadmonim, Aryeh Sha'ag Milo Yira, when the lion roars, who is not afraid? Aryeh stands for Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Hoshana Rabbah. When the lion roars, when we approach these days, who is not afraid? That means Elul is part of the Yemei HaTshuva. Not just Rosh Hashanah. Elul already begins the Yemei HaTshuva. So what is the avodah of Chodesh Elul? So the Lashon of the Meiri, it's kedai to read the Lashon. He says, Sharoi l'chol hishtado koydem Rosh Hashanah behefzer tfilos. It is appropriate for everyone to make effort before Rosh Hashanah, pleading in tefillah. You hear this? Part of the preparation for Rosh Hashanah is to begin to plead with in your tefillah. So while until now we say halavai, we should say with so much kavanah, yeah. But now we should say Shifeinu Avinu l'sayrasecha. We have to plead with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Uvha'aras tshuva. Why? But we're not. It's not the Yom Narom yet. Listen to this. These are the key words. If all you came to today to hear 6 words from the Meiri, it's kedai. Kedei sheyichnas b'Rosh Hashanah b'taras halev. To stand on Rosh Hashanah with a pure heart. The avodah of Elul is to plead in your tefillah, to be able to stand on Rosh Hashanah with a pure heart. How do you purify your heart? By pleading in tefillah. The more you daven, b'derech tachanunim, the more you daven, supplicative, not just to be yotzei, but really to beseech, to cry out, that will purify one's heart. And it's important to stand on Rosh Hashanah for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'taras halev. That he says, U'mizeh nagu v'mekamis lakam b'leilos v'likvaya tefillah b'beis hakneses b'chol shein v'chamisha shal Elul. There was a minhag back in, the 11th century, that they would stay up late at night davening on Mondays and Thursdays, like they used to do in Nasar Shemei Tshuva. Okay, so that's a very important idea, that the avodas hatfila during Chodesh Elul,
Shacharis or Mario?
late at night. Usually people daven Shacharis in the morning, so the nighttime, yeah? So it's an important idea to realize that to focus on davening b'tachanunim to gain taras alev. I don't know if we're aware of that. Right? If you ask somebody, how are you metaher your heart? How do you purify your heart? I don't know. I never really thought about it. You say, "V'tar libeinu liyav dechabenas." So how do you purify your heart? It's to daven b'derech tachanunim. You hear Yehuda? You want to have a pure heart on Rosh Hashanah? The way you do it is when you daven slowly, carefully. You pour out your heart to stand before the Rebbeinu Shalom b'taras alev. Now I want to share with you another Indian.
Part of the every davening.
People are in very high madrega, they already have taras alev. But for those of us who are not on such a high madrega, to daven b'derech tachnunim. Okay. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to bring to your attention. The other thing is, what exactly happens on Rosh Chodesh Elul? So we know it's 30 days to Rosh Hashanah. There's a concept that Shloshim Yom Koydem HaChag, you begin to prepare for Yom Tov, 30 days before Pesach, 30 days before other Yom Tovim. And the Rishonim write, so too, 30 days before Rosh Hashanah, we begin to prepare. We begin to be doiresh v'choiker b'inyanei shel Chag, which is to start to do tshuva. But the question is Elul just a preparation? Or something happened during Elul itself? Meaning, is Elul just preparing for the Yom Adin? By the way, if you think about it, Tishrei is the 7th month of the year, Elul is the 6th month of the year. The 6th is always preparation for the 7th. Just like Friday, preparation for Shabbos. Elul is the 6th month, is a preparation for Chodesh Tishrei. But is it anything more than that? Does something inherently happen in Chodesh Elul? So it's brought in the Kadmonim. The Maril brings it down, and others, that beginning on Rosh Chodesh Elul, the judgment begins. What chelak of the judgment? It's, in a way, the most severe chelak of the judgment. If chas v'shalom, somebody is going to be tried in court, what is the most frightening moment? When you get the letter in the mail. That's pachad pchadim. That's noira noirais, right? Well, sort of once a person resigns that they're going to have to face it, okay, so you hire the attorney and you sort of realize that what you're going to do. But when you open up the mailbox and you get the letter, that's pachad pchadim. Elul is when you get the hazmana in the Rosh Chodesh Elul. You get the hazmana in the mail. In 30 days is the court case. Yeah, when they come banging on the door. Yeah, early. That's pachad b'chadim. That's what happened this morning. Yeah, when the shofar was blown, everybody got a little zettel. 30 days. 30 days. Get your attorneys ready. Get your. You know what, Yehuda, stay. We need you. We need you, right? Do we need Yehuda? Yeah. Just sit down. Sit. No. Okay, thank you. So, just a few more minutes. Listen, it's very important. What? He got scared. So, Rosh Chodesh Elul, the Kadmonim say, I believe the Maril says, is when the Hazmana comes in the mail. And therefore, it's not just, okay, we have to prepare Likras Yom Adin. Something happens in Elul. Rosh Chodesh Elul is the day you get the Hazmana. You get the Hazmana in the mail. This is part of the Cherdas Hadin. This is part of the fear and the Yira that we have to have. No, we're not done. Yeah? Come, sit. Okay, thank you. You're Mekayim 2 mitzvahs. First of all, Talmud Torah and Kibbutz Avim. Okay? Fine, thank you. And then we'll go home, we'll open up some bar mitzvah presents, it'll be good, yeah? So let's go. So I want to share one last thing, okay? The Gemara says on Tezayin Amud Aleph in Masechta Rosh Hashanah that 4 times a year a person is judged. One of them is on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, Kol Boi Olam Oivim Lefanav Kivnei Maraim. On Rosh Hashanah, everyone stands before God, Kivnei Maraim. What does that mean? The Gemara in Daf Yud Ches gives 3 pshatim in Kivnei Maraim. But what I want to share with you is a very important Gemara. The Gemara says, that when Hashem judges Klal Yisrael, Melech v'tzibur, Melech nichnas tchila. When Hashem judges Klal Yisrael on Rosh Hashanah, if there's a king, say David or Shlomo, and then the rest of the people, Hashem will first judge the king, and then judge the rest of the people. Says the Gemara, 2 pshatim. Either it's lava oirach ara lamesav malkabroi. It's not derech eretz to judge the people, and the king is going to be waiting outside. So Hashem judges the king first because it's more derech eretz to give the king preferential treatment. And number 2, v'ibois ema. You know why God judges the king first? Because the earlier you are in the line, the better the judgment will be. The lashon of the Gemara is mekame delefesh charoinaf, before his anger burns up, so to speak. When people pass before God in Rosh Hashanah, so the first guy, Hashem is in a good mood. You did this avera, you did that avera. Okay, I'll be lenient with you. And then the next guy, I'm in a pretty good mood. And the next guy, Hashem's anger is wearing thin. And then the final guy, the Rebbeinu Shalom, is flaring angry already after having seen so many chatoim. So basically, what the Gemara is saying is Hashem judges the king first before he gets angry. Says Rav Itzl of Petterberg, we were at the kever of Rav Itzl of Petterberg on Har HaZeis. Remember when we went to Bubi's Hakamas Matseva? We were at Rav Itzl's kever. Rav Itzl of Petterberg says, you know what we learned from this Gemara? We learn from this Gemara that a key in the outcome of a person's judgment is where are you on the line? Where are you on the line? The earlier you are on the line, the better your judgment will be. Now the Gemara very quickly says 3 pshatim. What does it mean kivnei marayin? So the Gemara says on Daf Yud Ches. What does it mean on Rosh Hashanah we stand before God kivnei marayin? The Gemara says kivnei imrana, like sheep. That when a farmer takes off Meiser Behema, so there's a corral and the sheep are coming out of the exit and they come out single file, and the point is that in Rosh Hashanah we walk before God single file. Karaya Edrei, Kivakaras Raya Edrei, right? Number 2, Reish Lakish says, Kemalos Beis Maron. Like the ascent of Beis Maron. The ascent of Beis Maron is a place, like, you remember before they had GPS, you would get a triptych? You remember going to AAA to get a triptych?
Yeah.
Remember I used to drive to Pittsburgh, I would go there, they would print out like a booklet of how to get to your place, and then you get a few coupons to get like $1 off, triptych. So basically in the olden days, if you wanted to go on a trip, if you would want to go on, and they would stamp it green, this is red, point of departure, red is point destination. So Kemalos Beis Maron is a very narrow ascent, and you can only go up the ascent single file. That's the second shot. That's what Reish Lakish said, Kivnei Marayin. And then the Gemara says a third shot. Shmuel says, like the soldiers in David's army, that they would walk single file. Basically, 3 pshatim in Kivnei Marayin. Either sheep that come out of the corral, or people going up the ascent of Bnei Marom to get their triptych, or it means like the soldiers in David's army. So Rabbi Petterberg says, I need 3 pshatim in what it means, Kivnei Maron. Just say single file. What's wrong with just saying single file? I need a 3-way machlokes. What it means, Kivnei Maron, doesn't mean sheep that come out of the corral. Doesn't mean going up the ascent of Malos Beis Maron. Or does it mean like the soldiers in David's army? So basically, Rav Itzla Petterberg says this Gemara is the secret of Chodesh Elul. Since the Gemara tells us that the way to get a good judgment is where is your placement on the line. So what we need to know is, how do you get to the front of the line? So there are 3 ways. How do sheep come out of the corral? When the farmer opens up the pen, and all the sheep, you ever see? They're like wiggle, like waddling to get out first. So who's going to get out first? The sheep, if they would be fast, yeah. But sheep, the strongest. So too, Chodesh Elul. Who goes first? The biggest tzaddikim. The stronger you are, the greater you are, the more Hashem's going to want to be merachim on you, the earlier in the line Hashem's going to place you, which doesn't do any good for us, because either you're a tzaddik, you're not a tzaddik. There's very little that this ingredient in getting to the beginning of the line is going to really help us. It's good to know the bigger of a tzaddik you are, the earlier you get online. But if you're not there, if you're not holding there yet, it's not a practical solution. Then you have Kechayolos Beis David, the soldiers in David's army. So you have the general. You know what the general says? You, Yankel, here! Beryl, here! Feivel, here! Why does the general choose him there? How does he... What's your name? Beryl, Beryl, you go to the front of the line. No, don't worry. They're laughing because it's hashgacha pratis that your name happens to be Beryl. They're proud of you. That's it. Okay. I'm going to take care of you more after. Don't worry. Okay. So basically, it's arbitrary. When the general chooses who goes first, it's almost at a whim. You can't even, he might not even know why he says you first. So that's another cheshbon. Sometimes there are reasons that are beyond human comprehension why the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to be merachim on somebody, and in order to do so, he will allow them to go earlier in the line. But now let's talk about the triptych. This is the third ingredient. The ascent of Beis Maron. Who will get the triptych first? Right? I remember yesterday at the Kiddush, Baruch Hashem, I was mekayim the mitzvah of feeding hungry people. That people were so hungry, I couldn't even get to the food myself. But it was a long davening, and the drasha must have been really long. And who gets the kogel first? Right? You put out a kogel. Who gets the kogel first? Whoever gets it first come, first serve. Chodesh Elul, that's Kemalos Beis Maron. Who gets the triptych first? Whoever woke up earlier in the morning to get to stand at the beginning of the ascent, he's going to get there first. Same thing with Chodesh Elul. Even if you're not a big tzaddik, the earlier you begin to prepare for the Yom Hadin, the earlier you get on the line. Basically, when it comes to the Yom Hadin, it's first come, first serve. So a person is Messiah themselves, Rosh Chodesh Elul. So you beat the tshuva rush. Most people are going to wait till Ne'ilah. And the people who are on an even higher madrega, very, very big tzaddikim, already called Nidrei. And even bigger tzaddikim, they started at Shabbos Shuvah and Rosh Hashanah. But who's thinking in the middle of August? What's today? August what?
11th.
12th, August 12th, middle of the summer. It's not even Labor Day. You could still wear a straw hat. All right, who's thinking of doing tshuva? But if you have the chachma to realize that a key component of the outcome of the din is where you are on the line. That's why Beryl woke up early this morning, because he wanted to be zoicha already on Rosh Chodesh Elul. He wanted to be in the beginning of the line. So we're mevarech all of the Chashva Yidden who came today, that in the zchus of coming early to daven, to learn, to be Messiah, but Tshuva Rebbeinu Shalom should give us a good position on the line. He should give us a good outcome in the din. He should give us all ksiva chsima toiva. But the Ikar Yisayt is, this is a month of hachana, like the Meiri says, to stand before Hashem, b'taras hanefesh, to work on one's tefillah, to daven more, b'derech tachanunim, and also to start to do tshuva. That's why already Chodesh Elul should have a Musar Sefer, Shari Tshuva, Chavos Havavos, on your night table. Put on your night table. I gave you a Shari Tshuva, right? I gave Beryl a Shari Tshuva and the Mesilas Yesharim last year in English. So all the fathers, right? You could also use it. The fathers could use it. Put it on your night table. Even if you don't open up, this way at least you can go to sleep at night.
We're preparing.
It reminds you, I'm prepared, I'm starting, right? You should all be zoicha too. Agurka ben Shiur shkoyach agon chodesh.
He said thank you to the past from this year.
What?
I'm remembering sometimes.
I've said that before. The Rabbi said that.
He was stopping.
Yeah, there's very long shiur on that. Yeah, sure. No. I have a very long shiur on that.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.